You would do, you would do, you would do, you would do, you would do. You would do. What am I do? I will be higher, yeah. My God can do what I'm not. I will be more higher, my God can do what I'm not. Nothing else can take your place. No one else can take your place. What you say you will do, that is what you will do. No one can change your place. No one can change your power. From age to age, you're still the same. From day to day, you are still the same. From Monday to Sunday, you remain the same. Oh God, you will do what no one can do. My God can heal any sickness. My God can heal anybody. Yeah. My God can do any miracle. Yeah. My God can do what no man can do. Ooh, I will be higher, yeah, higher. I will be more. My God can do what no man can do. I will be more. Higher, yeah, higher. I will be more. My God can do what no man can do. I will be higher, yeah. My God can do what no man can do. I will be more higher, yeah.
Well, we want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. This is Liberia to legendary gospel artist K Praise. My God can do everything. So let's see here. All right. Liberian gospel artist is currently based in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, but there's a big and huge concept. That's who we are, what we represent. We want to say welcome to our viewers and listeners across the globe. I am Alphonso Zean Soe right here at the Liberia Public Radio New England Bureau. This is your informative news magazine, All Things Considered. What are we going to consider here this evening? A lot. We're going to consider your participation, your involvement, and discussion. Genuine, authentic, proportionate. I give everybody the opportunity to add and express your view. We don't sanction voices on this network, whether it's for or even against us, as long as it has been conducted in a civil context. Civility is what we need in Liberia. It's what we need. Be it the politicians, the ordinary Liberian electors, and those who have the country at heart. There will be always that diversity of views and opinions. But the problem is, we try to sanction people's view of their opinion, and you cannot question one's opinion. It's not a fact. So that he or she speaks it out, and you listen. And then you can make your argument. You can make your point to see who is right. Well, we're going to be having a conversation this evening, informative news magazine. Let me see here, Alphonso's take. There is questions you further the line is rolling that. There is a critical question here. Let's look at the last one. What are the chances for the opposition, win or loss? We decided to make a balance. We can't just say loss. We can conclude on that. So we put it on the scale, and that's what we're going to look at. And what is actually the opposition's role in a country, in a democratic society? What should the opposition doing? Can we draw that sort of parallel lines to see is what our oppositions are doing in the country? Is the opposition actually been positioning herself as an alternative to change course, to change the narrative, the politics? What are they doing? What are they considering? We learned there's a collaboration form. Yes, I managed to get hold of the document. I got it off the shelf today. And that has to do with the final draft. What it says when one who formed part of the collaboration is leaving. What did the document say? And who is trying to rewrite the history? What will the presider of electoral processes in Liberia, that's the National Elections Commission, that's the only autonomous agency, whether they are free, whether they are fair in their judgment, but as far as I'm concerned, that's the autonomous. We will differ with them in their judgments, in their argument as to how proceedings and hearings are conducted. But they have the sole authority under our provisions. That's the Constitution. We all are guided by the Constitution to review all electoral processes, including where there's a protest, where it's a possible complaint coming from the oppositions, individuals, and stakeholders. It is the election commissions that conduct these hearings and stuff, like we are witnessing now. So what are the chances of the opposition would be literally 20 months to go from court to court, from hearings to hearing, and that's who we are. Let's see here. So let's do a little bit backtracking here. Maybe you are forgetting. There was the solidarity. This was the political solidarity, tried to solidify their political grip in a bid to take the presidency of the Republic of Liberia. The guy in the brown there with a hand in his pocket, ALP Benana Yuri, in the middle there with the turbot, I love that suit, high suit, with the cap there, is Ambassador Joseph Newman Boykai. Is the former vice president of the Republic of Liberia. And in the middle there is the only lady, the senator from Grand Bassa County, Senator Nyombli Kanga Lawrence. And the guy on the far left facing me, with like a business navy blue suit, is ANC Alexander Benedict Cummings, now caught in political turmoil, fighting for his political battle. Those were the guys that put together to form the political solidarity with the hope to give Liberians alternative or a new dimensions in the political process in the country. And form a unions under the banner collaboration. What happens? What went wrong? It was said by one political commentator that the water is poison. You know, I know, when you drink something that is of a poison, you know exactly the end result. It is glaring, it is visible in real time that indeed the water is poison. Who did that? Who poisoned the CPP? Who took the political cookies from the cookies jar, leaving Liberians in a disbelief and trying to find a political accommodation? How we got to this point? Who is answerable to Liberia? Who is answerable to the democratic process as to how we got here? Are we treated as ordinary Liberians and civilians who entitled to better democratic processes? Are we being treated fairly by these political leaders? Are we asking them questions, or we are being politically blindfolded or taking that political correctness tone simply because we support this individual? The water is poison. Who wants to drink antifreeze? Who wants to drink battery water? I don't want to do that. Neither to you, our valuable followers and listeners. You don't want to do that. But someone within the system, embedded within the CPP, contaminated the political ground of CPP. And so the forensics, everything was done scientifically, and they said the water is poison. Who left the drinking water on the table? The government, in as much as the government is to be held accountable, equally, proportionally, the opposition as well. It's not just all about to critique or criticize the government. More or less, the opposition stands in the gap for the ordinary people of society, not just only Liberia, but for the purposes of our discussion today, we're going to narrow it to Liberia. They point out the ills and help to fix them in their talking points, in their argument as to how they should compare and contrast their positions if they are to take state power. Are we saying that today? Is it visible? Are we hearing that from their language, their tone, or either the tones of those that support them? Is that what's happening today? So who poisoned that water? Who was not trusted? Who became the Judah? Who became the Blake Comparit of Liberia to contaminate and poison the opposition's water? Would it be answerable? Or are we in the same way as usual to justify their actions and begin to apportion blame game? Regrettably, today's politics in Liberia, radio host, podcast, commentator, is more or less being driven into the entertainment aspect. And we wholeheartedly, Liberians far and near, inside Liberia, outside of Liberia, embrace that with high honor. So it left some of us with hair scratching as to whether we know what we are getting into or what we are involved with. When we cannot keep the conversation that will help our people to make informed decisions. Subliminal messages appears to be good, but they are not. Propaganda, innuendos, everything has taken over the media industry, both print and electronic media, and we enjoy doing that. However, we are not taking into consideration the long-term danger that is involved. And I will come back to this point and begin to argue he should have known better. Knowing what I know now, these are the statements when we have gone to wrong in our judgment without doing our due diligence. These are words that we deploy in our argument. Knowing what I know now, I could have done this. So what you didn't know first, why you didn't ask a question? And we see the proliferations of political parties, individuals or group living from party to party, pledging solidarity, not even to the institution that they support, but to the individuals. This is why we do not have a standing institution. And when those guys fade away, leave the political scene, then we come to resurface, we bring in a new nomenclature and give it some sort of party name. And those same old people who left those other parties, they will cross-pollinate. They will come over to the new party. Most of them don't pay their dues, no commitment, but they are being driven by something with some sort of political reward. And these leaders don't ask them, why you left CDC, why you left Liberty Party, why you left Unity Party? What you anticipated happened in that party and didn't happen, you coming here so that we will fix it. Or what did you do to help to stabilize, to bring stability in that party? They take all of their baggages and they bring them. That's what I did. When the ruling Unity Party left, all the baggages from all of these political parties, they crossed over to CDC. If CDC leaving anytime 6 years, whatever time they are projected it to be, and any other winning party, they will come over again. It has become the culture and our visual cycles of politicians and individuals because we are unable to focus on the things that matters to the country. We're not hearing much about our agriculture, our industry, education, health, infrastructure. We are not having the opportunity for these political leaders to be quizzed. But instead, when we ask some of these legitimate questions, their supporters, their surrogate, sycophants, they will tell us you did not ask that questions when Samuel Doe was there, when Charles Taylor was there, when Bang Bang Ball was there, when the late Claudia concomitant Sawyer was there. So why we can't ask that, forgetting to know that time has significantly involved. I am Alphonso Zean Soe of the Liberia Public Radio. This is my own take here. This evening, to want to welcome my guy is standing by. That's Amos George is standing by it already, and this is all things considered. Let's get the ball rolling. Okay, let's get a ball rolling. Let's get a ball rolling right here, and okay, good evening, folks. Welcome. Just do us a favor, hit the share button to invite someone at your company. My guy is standing by, Mr. Amos George from Atlanta, Georgia. You know the history of Georgia, so we are not here to do that. But we're going to be looking at some things today. This code bit here, I'm so freaking sick and tired with these people going to court, going to hearing. Elections is within our proximity. We are not getting the conversation. Most likely, I might sound a little bit ridiculous here tonight. Potentially, if we continue to go with this, His Excellency George Weah will be the next president of the Republic of Liberia, when you like it or not. Because these guys, these people that put together, call themselves a collaboration, they allowed the water to be poisoned. Now, we cannot find doctors inside Liberia. Unfortunately, like Americans or German doctors cannot perform any surgery. They're holding their hands. Some keeping their hands in their pocket. Some looking in the sky. They told us, anyone who spoil or break this, hold us accountable. It came from out of their mouth. Nobody put fingers in their throat. That's the opposition. You're looking in the sky. Let me bring in Amos George. Let's get a conversation going. Okay. Mr. Amos George, good evening and welcome.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir, and good evening to our audience.
Okay, so though that's what we are. Unfortunately, there's a culture on this network, and that culture is not necessarily to appease people. We don't tell people what they intend, what they want to hear. So there's going to be a lot of disappointment. We say it as it is. We don't sanction voices. That's what we do, but we try to keep it proportional and have a, look, let's see here. This guy is fighting for his career, his political career, because probably I now believe that indeed the water has been poisoned.
Directly affecting the Liberian people and issues we will continue to speak about more vocally. And we'll also begin to speak more vocally about the establishment of justice that is happening with this
Okay, he said something quite fascinating and interesting. We will begin to speak more vocally. It appears he was slowing his pace. It's like negotiation. It's like the peace talk, the Akosomo, the Kumasi, the Banjul, everything else gone off the radar, is derailing now to will be more vocal. It's like he was holding back. But I think talking to one insider, most likely we want to be seeing the difference. But remember, one of the veterans in this business who was part of in the Beltway, said that the water was poison. That's huge. I don't know whether you have interest in knowing who poisoned the water and how that water got poisoned. Should we ask those people? Should we also investigate that part? Unfortunately, NEC cannot do that. Look, so the question here tonight becomes, what are the chances? What are their chances, the opposition, seeing what we're seeing, what is unfolding?
Mr. Soe, there are chances for the opposition, but, and I will sound ridiculous tonight, but this is the hardcore truth. The government is part of this process now. The government is part of this process now. And what do I mean by that? If this is how they want to play the game, 2023 would be rigged by the government. Reasons. First, you have one party member accusing another of a forgery. Perfect. That is right. They go to the court. The court now is dragging her feet.
Is that strange? Is that strange to you?
So it's not strange to Liberia or to Africa, because political cases are always fast tracked. But yeah, it's the thing now. If the defendant was asking for all the excuses, then you could say, oh, I think the case is against the defendant. But the prosecution, the Solicitor General on radio say he had some amount of evidence to prosecute this case. And now is why.
That was mere political intimidations.
No, it can't be political, Mr. So.
I'm not saying it's right, but what I'm saying, this is that is the argument they can make in order to solidify their political grip.
You can do so because they can do so because the Solicitor General is the chief prosecutor of Liberia. And if he come up and say, look, we got evidence mounted that this guy will be convicted at any time. But now to go to court every week asking for something that is not even necessary. Look at today. Last week, the one they asked for a while. They want to see the traveling document. The Solicitor General said he didn't believe the man came to America. But the Superior Court instructed the Magistrate Court to grant the man all his rights to travel. But Serena Seeker is saying, no. Well, I don't believe because the man showed me ticket. It can't tell me that he went to America. The question of whether he went to America or not, the court has granted him the issue. He is appeared in court. That's why you should be concerned. But he said no. Now, today, he said that when they went to court, what they said, the chairman of the LP party was sick. He could not appear in court. But today he appeared at the Election Commission. Now, one may argue.
Maybe he got good significant amount of doses.
It would be the judge supposed to hold the Solicitor General in contempt for lying. Because if the chairman of the party, who's supposed to tell the witness, would have written to ask the court or the lawyer to say, hey, because of conflict with our schedule, we asked that our witness would not be here because he had another case scheduled at the same time at the Election Commission. That is a genuine excuse. But when you say, Mr. Toh, you know that here, your lawyer go and tell the judge that you say you cannot appear today. Then they say you go in appear to another government entity the judge will caution that lawyer because he misleading. If you are sick, not to come to court, how you be sick to go to another hearing, a government institution. This is where we are today in Liberia. And maybe the government of Liberia, they're acting smart, but these are the things that continue to damage Liberia justice system in and out of the country. Because when you're doing these things, you think that, oh, you know the law, you're acting smart, but the international community is looking at you. And this is why I'm saying that the opposition has its own problem. But if there's a court issue, let it be transparent. But the way the government is playing again, that's why I'm coming with the premise that if this continues, 2020 election will be rigged by George Weah then.
It will be rigged by George.
Yes.
Weah. Okay.
Because
well,
what is starting now?
That's an argument, but you know, this is a high-profile political case where a major opposition was accused. I mean, what is troubling? It came from within the system. When we were told that the water got porosity. So what that does, it gives the government, because the government try to figure out how they can subdue, how they can overcome the people. Of course, deep down, when you talk to folks within the GOL, they are happy. You know, when you see this sort of wrangling that's going on within the opposition, it's good for them politically. They're not worried about you. They're not worried about me. They're not worried about ordinary Liberians. They're thinking how to solidify their political will. And unfortunately, the opposition, and I said this over and over, they give birth to what we are experiencing today. Simply because these three grown-up men and this lady are not or unable to take charge. It started. This whole thing started. It was not an overnight event, and nobody had the guts to put it to a stop. That's not justifications of whatever the law is going to be doing, the justice system should be doing. No, I'm against that. But remember, Jalot versus the GOL. How many years? 5 years, right? Yeah. So the probability, Alexander Benedict Cummings is in, I don't know to what extent ANC is taking this to be, but it's a serious problem. You don't know when it's actually going to come to a conclusion, because they can tell you, go come to date, and maybe, all right, this term, our docket is overloaded. And the longer it drags, now there's a big distraction. So it's not only Cummings, how they call it, Unity Party to also have their own. I managed to get this here, all right, in their own collaboration. And I sent that to you. You were able to look through it? I got it right, yeah. Yeah, this document, I managed to get an original collaborative framework document of the collaborating political parties. There was May 19. If you go to
page 9.
Page 9. Let me see here. And I mean, this shows it well, because this is something I really wanted to lay hand on, and it came finally. If you go to page 9, there's a specific article. No, actually, section 8.5, article 12. It's specified. If you're forming this collaboration, when you're getting out of A, what you're supposed to do, what you should, the do's and don'ts. It's specified. You saw it?
Yeah. Withdraw. Contributing political party desiring to withdraw from the CPP shall fight war. So, but if I address that, I want to comment on what you said.
Yeah, go ahead.
We all know when there is any criminal issue raised by any citizen, the government comes along to prosecute that case. When Benin Nigeria, allegedly raised this issue of fraud, it was incumbent on the government to take charge of the matter and go ahead with the prosecution. There's no doubt about it. That's the procedure. But the turn in which it has not taken, because this is just the first court and instant magistrate court. The Solicitor General have become part of this case. He's no more a prosecutor, he's a player. Because when you hear the Solicitor General calling an alleged someone who accused guilty, a criminal, it means that he has.
Mr. George, George,
yeah.
Let's come back here in this, the godfather for democracy.
Yeah.
Bill Barr. You remember what was going on here around the elections with all of these conspiracy? I'm just going to say these things happened universally, but I think they had a chance to have kind of like stabilized the thing, and that did not happen.
Yes,
so obviously you expect serenity first.
Bill Barr, what did Bill Barr do at the end? Did he resign and told Trump that the election was not rigged? Bill Barr did it. But he did not say
the damage was already done.
No, Mr. So let's be honest here. Bill Barr had a report. He told Trump the election was not rigged. Based on all the investigation, he told Trump that the election was not rigged. But what I'm saying here is that if Serena Seaforth, and not be honest, Mr. So, if the prosecutor can say Mr. So is guilty already before going to trial, what's that tell you about the prosecutor? Now, if the case went to court, there's no problem with the case going to court. I do not have a problem with it. The fact here is, before the case went to court, he saw all the evidence, convinced the jury, and said, "Oh, this case we can prosecute it. This man is guilty, or this part guilty." Only today now, the whole process now is being stalled by the government, and so they let it again, drag it to next year.
Is it fair to say at the time, knowing what we're seeing unfolding, and Serena Seaforth probably was just doing or basing on circumstantial evidence?
I can't say so, Mr. So, because he's a person. He looked at the document. I was not there to look at it. You were not there. He came to the public that we have the evidence.
But what he said, or what he put the pronouncement made on Spoon, which of course he jumped ahead. He was heading ahead of his own shadow, which was ridiculous in itself as a Solicitor General. I think he should have spoken to more or less and see how it plays out to gather and build his case as someone who represents the government, because there was some sort of criminalities allegedly being committed. He was accused of, so that was his job to come in, but that did not either happen as well.
But that's why I'm saying the government.
It took a political line.
Yes, and he had all play a hand, talking about, hey, the case are not even being prosecuted. You talking about what kind of punishment will be levied against the person when the case are not being adjudicated?
Okay, so then let's go a little bit beyond the resurrections of this whole thing here. So let's come back to the four political parties that put together. What was lacking? How,
the first thing
was there any concrete, or was there any genuine or fair conversations that was kept? Or was it like, oh, we need to move George, we are the CDC-led government, they are obstacle, we need to move them, so hurriedly overnight, they put this paper together. Putting it together is one thing. Whether it was properly read and they comprehend what they themselves put together, or it was just a document I have here, because from day one, when I saw it, Samson told the liberal who is on the run now, who has his own party but is unable to support and produce candidate in his party, said, when I talk here, what did he say? That they're playing, and they're testing one another. Time will come, everything will be okay. He muffled. He can't even open it again. He zipped it. Now, do you think? Let's look at the genesis of this whole thing here. Do you think these guys, these four parties, they really discussed in in depth to understand what they were involving with, what they were getting into, the agreement, the collaboration, or it was just done on the surface? Or somebody was just adding something, say, okay, you know what? Let's just get this thing here, and we're going to get that public sentiment. We got to see where it comes from too.
Yeah,
It's important
and
because
and,
we don't
and
want them
let,
go there tomorrow and get us to talk what we are talking now.
and let me say the first thing before I even come to whether it was genuine or not. Mr. Soe, if I have my own will, Joseph Walker, he should not be thinking about presidency. Benny Ayure should not be thinking about it. The mere fact that you people are saying,
Why
hold on,
why you
the
want to
mere
sanction their
fact, Mr. Soe,
constitutional right?
20, I'm not saying, I said, I'm not
Oh,
saying
you have your own will.
they should not, I said, for me, it would mean they should not be thinking about presidency.
Oh, okay.
I said they cannot run. But for 28 pages of document, 26 pages, they did not read it. Are you telling me it was people that put the document together and they never read it?
I want to believe that.
To see the clauses and things for your own protection, that is the institution you come from. To see what is there in your interest and what is not there. Are you telling me they did not read this, read the paper? And if they did not read it, it is the premise which I've seen. They should not be talking about power because the president will get volumes of document. And if he cannot read 26 pages or 28 pages, how will he read 150 pages? So it means that anybody will bring something and just slide in there and gone.
Or apparently somebody brought it and one person was sending over another chief here and they just flick here. And then they were talking about Zoom. That's why that is so annoying. They were having Zoom meeting where on my foot. I was observing the COVID protocol in Liberia. More Ali carrying people here and there. It doesn't make no sense. It doesn't add up to anything. That's thing they were talking about.
So that's a lazy argument. If you want me, if you and myself going to a contract, you have a document. We're going to have a Zoom meeting. What will you say? Amos, I'm finding a document for you to go through it because the discussion going to send around this. Or Mr. So send me the document. Let me scan through it and see. Because we can't be talking on Zoom and I don't have nothing to talk about, to look at. So all that thing is mere excuse and lies. Because people are irresponsible. Could not read anything in this paper to see what was there for or against them.
They have all of their technocrats, lawyers, advisors, counsel, and all of that. These are legal documents.
Yes. So, but the bottom line here, and to be very honest with you, Mr. Toole, there are 4 people that went in the court. 3 were not honest.
Let's put them up and see. Let me see. Call the names of those are not honest.
Mr. Benina Ayure, Honorable Bwaka, and Yomli Kankma. They were not honest.
Justify your argument why they wasn't honest.
If they were honest, today they would not be arguing about this document. They went into this collaboration with something in the background. This newcomer was screwing or was using and they're throwing out there. He's not known, so we just wing our way, boop, we kick him out. So you see, when these 20 clauses were put in it, they didn't think of tomorrow.
They never thought about where they send me do parable time try now for right along. There's one cow, elephant, chicken, everybody dying into this trap here.
Yes. So they never thought of, hey, you know what happened? No, this thing is supposed to go wrong. I don't like it. This crowd will hold me, will tie me. Oh, okay, let us fix it this way. You can leave. If you are disabled, just write out, give up notice, 6 weeks, 2 more notice, and you leave. No, they all agree because they thought this newcomer, they were kicking on, and he will not have more.
Do you see that as a conspiracy against him? There are 2 things. When you started here first, when you started here, I said there are 2 things that came to mind. Either that portion they've been arguing about was extracted. And at the time of handing this document, because there was already a notion, the perception was already there, everything is okay. And it was either inserted into that. And he comments and his folks too say, okay, maybe it came from this hand and it was okay, it came from this other hand. So it want to be fine in my hand. So I'm wondering, when did he, Yuri, realize? When did he, Yuri, realize
But
of this
the,
clause that were inserted, and how can, who is within? And I'm not sure what I, when it takes the legal side, the common folks can also push that, because what that does, the argument of Yuri is implicated the NEC, which should be an independent institution. They took this document there, and by educated guess, I want to believe they took thorough revision. They are all signatory to the document. So if there was anything of that is not right, NEC simultaneously should call on all of the four parties. It doesn't matter who is chair and who is not chair, because they all put together. Or even if a communication is being sent to the head, there must be a season to the other people, because the four put together to be one. Even though, and this is another stupid thing that is set into it. When we're talking here, George Lobo and other people that were making the argument. How can you and how both of all can put together? So they give it a name, leaving room to act crazy, to do crazy things to our country, because they themselves have a hidden agenda. Okay, we are collaborating, but when Alfonso house is on fire, we shouldn't even call 911 for rescue, because we still have our own independence to argue to make our point.
the OAU attitude, do not
Yeah.
interfere with the next man
Oh,
internal affairs.
you, welcome to Liberia. Look, why were these people thinking about? So
Criminality.
nobody wanted to do it. You are collaborating with the sole purpose to get to the finishing line. And the only way that can be achieved, to be attained, is to make sure either of your side is at peace. You must be, ANC must be at peace, Unity Party must be at peace, Liberty Party must be at peace, ALP must be at peace. But they just dash it and say, you know what? We don't care. And whatever, when Unity Party is on fire, Unity Party can't do it, because they are political institution.
Let me say something you are alluding to. Europe did not question the clause in the documents. Europe said his signature were forged. That was his argument. It's Musa ability now that raising this issue say, no, there's a clause in the document that say before you leave, you have to find X, Y, Z. And you did not do it. So therefore, you cannot leave or file anything in your name. Then they say, oh, no, no, no. First, you saw them on social media, they came up with it. I heard someone saying, Mo Ali, you cannot call people to stay in any collaboration, in any organization.
Let me hold you here. Ali, my friend and brother Aliyu Samba, a defector seditions, right, to Unity Party, right? He was,
Yeah.
I don't know where he is now. So they brought all of these things here. This is what he
all
said.
around.
The degrading manner in which you guys speak to your colleagues, who colleagues are in the opposition, continues to develop bad blood. Seriously, we're telling them what they need to know and what they need to hear. You guys have to learn to be civil and have a responsible conversations without insulting. Nobody use insult here. Come on, Ali, you know better when you come on LPR here. The ongoing legal fight does not help either side. In other words, both sides are going to lose. And so, yeah, because you're failed to tell them and you're unable to tell your political leaders things that they are doing. So all of you are part of this problem. So we have to discuss it and get it in the open air. Go ahead.
Look, I mean, let me tell you.
I mean, you want to come on, just come on, we'll give you the fair share.
I didn't insult Mr. Boakai, Honorable Boakai. I didn't insult Mr. Yuri. I'm just saying that there's something that doesn't make no sense. Period. So that's not insult. If something doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. So, Mr. So, what I was saying is that the people, now they're going to the election commission. And they say, oh. In fact, you heard a surrogate saying, you're not supposed to say any collaboration. No, there are rules that govern institution, organizations that people run. And if you sign down, you put certain clauses in that document, you submit it, it becomes a legal thing binding. And if you want to lead, follow the channel. But I'm surprised. These people who are so smart, level-headed, come on in, like they say, hey, right, the executive committee. If you are not certified, go to this process. 2/3 members must agree for you to withdraw. Simple thing than that. None of them did it. But they got on social media to make pronouncement, we are leaving.
So if I look at this clause here in this their own document, they sign it. It's not about creation. So ANC, now I don't know whether the wheel is turning around on them. ANC now too is making that argument because this is what it says in their own handbook. That's 8.5, loss of membership, right? Decertifications. A constituent political party shall lose its membership after decertifications by the National Election Commission.
Yeah.
ANC is making them. What would become of these other people?
No, I want them to argue that that was not part of the document, because you know, everything when it comes to law or thing that we do, Mr. So in Liberia, when against we all want to continue to move the goalpost, want to interpret what we sign on to suit us, and this has been one of the major points in Liberia. We saw during Charles at that time, there was the same similar thing. Charles, the signed document, can you say, I signed it? I'm not buying it. So this kind of attitude with us, we have to stop it. If you fix the signature to a document, if the goal Russell, look, this is my signature, let me take the responsibility of it. But you see, people will start moving the goalpost. Oh no, they want, this is how we interpret it. No, the law is there, and the people who are the expert will interpret it. Now you and myself. This is the problem. All they see is down there. Are you seeing? People not read anything to say, you know what happened? No, this one I'm not certified. Let's go to the election commission.
And this is where the apprehension comes in. If they can't even read and comprehend their own creation, so what becomes of concessions if we allow them to sit on the airfloor and go on Capitol Hill and become judges, associate justices? Can they go over to legal to document?
But that's why I said
if they can't even manage their own creation, can we allow them to get up the hill there?
Well, that's why I told you. And you asked me, I said, if for me, based on the kind of attitude, I can't trust people with power. I would not trust Boakai nor Yuri. Because 26 or 28 pages. Are you seeing that more Ali than could I read this thing to the old man and say, look, this one here, old man, we got problem with it. We should not go, let make some change it. Let's tweet this one. Are you seeing none of these people look at it and saw these things? Come on, Mr. So, and now you expect me to take state power and give it to these people?
Mr. George, who do you trust? Who do you trust?
In terms of what now?
You say you don't trust them. If you don't trust, you say you don't trust Boakai, you don't trust Yuri, and who else?
Oh no. Yeah, what I'm saying is also, if Mr. Comey were in the same position to behave like that, I would start to trust him. Because if you and I, or Mr. Toh, we got into some agreement, and I did not read that paper, or if I read it, I didn't see anything wrong with it, that means I'm okay. But when they go forward, they say, oh, you know what happened? They one were not there. I didn't see them one yet. then of course you become concerned about me, my ability to read, understand, and to make judgment. Because this is something in black and white. All the people around you, none of them saw it. What were they thinking about the document? So are they saying, in other words, that all the document was prepared by President coming over and just took to the election commission? Is that what they're saying?
Mo Ali, I don't know, at the time he was the secretary or
Yes.
whoever he was taking it over. I mean, in setting all sort of stuff, they are unable to solve this document. Black and white went to NEC,
Yes.
color went to NEC. Who determines who is there? Who has the jurisdiction to satisfy the document? NEC. So whether it was a purple document, it was more red, maroon, or green. I mean, it's just not an arguable one. If it meets the standard of NEC, and NEC satisfied the document at the time, and they all knew that it was satisfied, why should we argue? But there are other things. There are other things they are holding Alexander Cummings for.
Yeah.
And the liberal has been pushing that soundbite in his own theory. Go second. This one go first. This one go second. I don't know what sort of political mathematical work that he was doing. But some part of what 2021. Or 2021, September 5th, precisely. I hosted Mr. Alexander Cummings of the Alternative National Congress here. Let's take a look on some of the things that we talk, for which is still a talking point today. Let's play that and I want to have a conversation.
I would add that. I would just speak to what I believe I bring, and I believe it fits where the country is today and where the country needs to go. And that's why I say we have a choice. We can go back and vote for the past. We can vote for the present. The past didn't work. The present now working. Or we can vote and think about the future and do things differently to change our country.
Would there be a time when the gloves will come out, even though you're not here to attack, but it's a race? Would there be a time where Mr. Cummings will be pushed against the wall and he can't go through that wall, he has to come back? Would there be a time that you're going to get the gloves out?
Well, I don't know it's about getting the gloves off or not. You see, this is also part of the political environment we should try to change as well. The fact is, we are all part of the CPP. The fact is, when I win, or if I win the CPP nomination, Mr. Walker and his people will support him. If he wins, I and my people will support him. We gotta keep the prize in mind. The prize is to make president. We are a one-term president.
One-term president.
Now the prize and the goal, Alphonso, the prize and goal, the goal is that the prize word. The goal is to make this be a one-term president. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. So we need to all make our case to city partisans. Why us? And then we will compare. So Joe will make a case, I will make my case, and then the partisans of the CPP will say, okay, now Cummings bring this, Joe brings that. They will pick, they will decide. And then we come together and we'll make this be a one-term president. Then we'll take it, but we try to do before we get take it about this again. Because ultimately that's what we try to.
I'm trying to sense out something here. You are speaking in a very expository tone, and I'm trying to get what you are saying here. There is commonalities here. So, no matter what way, if White wins it to come on top, will Cummings go as number 2 if you were to be taught in that direction? Will you go as number 2?
No, I think it's premature to have that conversation. Let me tell you why. Let me explain why, right? We are, to your earlier point, Alphonso, we are in a competition for the standard membership of the CPP. And to start having a discussion about who should go number 1, number 2, then what's the point of having a competition? If we all agree that, so several things to say to this. First of all, many people who are suggesting that don't want to make a choice. maybe they worried that if Ambassador Walker is not on the ballot, the Unity Party people will break away. If not on the ballot, the ANC people will break away. I want to show Liberian people that the CPP will hold together. No matter who wins the nomination, we'll hold together because our goal is to make Mr. Weah a one-term president. So let's put that concern aside. The second thing I want to say to Liberian people and CPP partisans is that they need to make a choice. Liberian people feel bad. Let's just Cummings and work out together. No. You make a choice. It's not personal. If you believe that Alexander Cummings is the best candidate in Nigeria, come and support me, please. And if I win the nomination, then you guys and Joe will support me. If you believe Joe is the right person, go support Joe. If you decide you want to support we can stay friends. It's a choice. You decide it's better, and you support it. And that we can make a choice. We can't we compromise too quickly. You go into the country, you play the first game. You ask me not to succumb to Bolsonaro. How is that possible? Right?
Okay, Mr. George.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the second leg match now because a lot of things since almost a year plus now, we had our conversations with Mr. Cummings. By the way, we reached out to the other folks. I was still working. I'm waiting to have a second because a new question has developed, and he and only he can answer that question. I'm waiting to see whether they're going to grant us that opportunity. There were a lot of things, if you go back to that interview, there were a lot of things to talk about. Let the people need to make their choice. He's talking about the voters. He's talking about maybe people within the CPP, supporter, whether you Yuri or Boyka or normally to make their choice. He made a reference to try to inject something here to bring it to reality. With the counter me when I go through the process. He's a good. He's talking. He gets some really good season there. He knows how to void around questions and all of that. Are they allowing the people to make their choice?
No. I was not ridiculous. Here's the thing. In LP party and the Unity Party, they don't want democracy.
It's a strong voice.
Yeah, they don't want democracy. And here's the thing. Folks from the Unity Party have consistently said Joe Boyka is the man. This document that the facts are signature to, they talk about voter survey, BPS, consensus building, then primary. If at all, Joe Boyka, Honorable Boyka, Mr. Benila, you will believe in the process, one man, one vote. Why they couldn't go to this convention? You're making not believe in one man, one vote. Why the four of them could not go to this convention and just keep Alexander coming up? That is the process. The democracy we want, the democratic process. That is why we require not compromise. Compromise can come later on if you want to. If you want to compromise, then you don't need to put in about democracy. You don't need to put competition if you want to compromise. Then you sit down and say, okay, you go for Africa, I'll go for
Probably I think best, and I said this here, the best thing the CPP who have done was, it was narrowed out of the 4 political parties, it was narrowed down to 2. So they could have adopted the CDC style. CDC made her position clear when they were forming that coalition. They made their position clear, we want a power ball. They look at NPP as another strong force. NPP go to they give them the vice presidential slot. They went and do their own thing and brought in Madam Taylor. Prince Johnson on the other side, knowing what he knows and that there will be no good accommodation, he said, okay, I need 60% appointees within the Nimat district or Nimat belt to be my nominees, and I need these X number of persons to be to hold either ministers or deputies or directors position. That was the political workout. That's
That's
something
a compromise.
you can, yeah, you can make those sort of compromise. But this whole thing started, and when we're talking here, the Liberal did not give us chance. When you it became a competition because out of the four, two expressed their interest
Yes.
that we want to be this.
And
So obviously,
the law provided that.
yes. And then obviously it was already a political contention. You want it, I
I
want
want
it.
it.
I'm wondering what I did was, and if I had a chance to talk to Mr. Cummings or Boyka again, I would ask. Because after it was narrowed down to two of them, I'm wondering whether there was at any time they met as leaders of these two major political parties and who are taking a close eye of state power, whether they had whether they had some sort of a closed door conference meeting. And the second part where the whole thing got derailed is when these major actors, when Benana Yuri came out to make the endorsement,
Yeah.
Darius Dillon, Senator Darius Dillon, even the COP to Mr. Costa. And I said that here, and something told did not give me an air to breathe out. I said that was the beginning and destruction of the CPP because they, as a high profile individuals, they cooperated. How can you intervene now? Because you became part of the problem. You took side already. Say this is the person that I want. So how can the other side kind of accommodate you to have a conversation? Because you have a position already. You have been very definitive. And I said, Mr. Costa, that's my view. That's my opinion. It doesn't mean he can make a judgment. But he could have been a very crucial person in this whole thing here. And both Boycott and Cummings who have turned to him and said, hey, that's where the bargaining chips comes in. To say, hey, my man, I need your support. You have follower. You have people that are listening to you. But that did not happen. He came out and pronounced that the water was pressing. And he's going to lead the cause for the explosions of one who is part of the process. This COP is not a political institution, it's a pressure group. So they began to process a walnut when they were looking for the commendations at the time he coming was air, and that didn't go well. Did it create any sort of bad blood? Of course, I'm a free thinker, and anybody can think in that way, the manner and context in which it was handled. So Nyongli as well. They were all pivoting towards boycott. It was glaring, it was visible. So it makes it very, 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 very difficult to bring to a settlement. And that was the very wrong thing they did. But again, their supporters, they were celebrating. They were celebrating. Darrell Dillon, if I were Darrell Dillon, I would be the last to speak. Wait and see how the process plays out. And then you come out knowing what I know, or people that I talk to, we need to bring this thing to an end. But instead, they introduce chaotic situation into the process, and it's off their hand. You're not hearing them talking. They're having their evening classes now when they're supposed to be putting pieces of legislation in place, talking to their colleagues to move the country forward. It is what we hear now. So this going to court, Serena Seaforth coming, it is their own creation as well. They are responsible and they need to come out clean to tell the Liberian people where they went wrong, why they did what they did.
But let me say something to you. This is why I say there's something fundamental
I'm going to be
wrong.
putting the number here very
Yes.
shortly so that we have people to participate.
This is what I say. There's something fundamental wrong with some people in Liberia. The scenario you just gave, with all what Yuri did, Nyomle, Costa, threatening to expel Mr. Cummings from the CPP. Mr. Cummings never raised the issue to say, you know what happened? I'm leaving. That is to take someone who understands the document that is the facts that changes do. He did not raise the issue, say, oh, I'm leaving or we'll leave. No, he stayed there. But saying he stayed there, Boakai, Ure, Yomli, the final figure, they say, no one, this man ain't going anywhere. We had threatened him from all over. He had never spoken one that he leaving. He seen that he will stay. Because these people that I just named are afraid of the process. The process they're afraid is to go through the democratic process. This is why Yomi afraid of, is why Benina you're afraid, is why Honorable Boakai afraid of. So what they did now, they went and formed another plan. They said, hey, let's pull back. Because they would have challenged Mr. Cummings. Hey, Boakai have Ure on his side, Yomli Kanga, and hey, Unity Party, that 3-1. Why wouldn't they go to the convention? Because they're afraid. They don't want no challenge. It's like Liberia, it's an entitlement. Mr. Costa, Boakai, bringing in some Cummings. Boakai did not say a word. That is the plot they had. They were doing it so Cummings can be frustrated to leave. So then they will take over. But Cummings did some, I don't know who have advised on this some political calculation. You know
Okay,
what?
let's go to the first caller. Okay,
Yeah.
let's go to the first caller here. 612 number 612-63330 now. Caller, good evening. What's your name and where you calling from?
Alphonso, good morning. Mr. Soe, good morning. Good evening and good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Prince Williams and I'm calling from Tennessee,
Prince
the volunteer
Williams.
state.
Okay, thank you. So let me ask my hardball question here. Then you will go to your point because there are a lot of things that we'll talk about. What are the chances of the opposition? Are they going to win or are they going to lose? Considering all this that is ongoing, what's your position there? Do they still have a chance?
Well, the question you are asking is sort of kind of conflicting for me to answer because at this point, when we speak of opposition now, are we talking about the collective opposition or the individual oppositions that is emerging now?
I'm still considering it as a collective group. That's the CPP.
With the major players like UP, ALP, and ANC, and
yeah, they are the one that in the news cycle, so they are the main opposition. Whatever, I don't know. Yeah, but they're the one I'm referring to. When you talk about Cummings, you talk about Ambassador Boakai, Nyambli, Liberty Party, you're talking about ALP, Benina Urate. They were the four that became a bone of contention, talk of the town, posing real challenge. Yeah, go ahead, quickly.
Yeah, I think the opposition, as you just named them, is something that is obviously is not going to be what we all anticipated and expected. But there will be an evolution that will take place, and there will emerge new actors. But currently, the parties are looking at. The first installment of that endowment by getting them to be overwhelmingly elected during the midterm election. That conglomeration is not on hold because, like George says, or like Mr. George said, and like you are struggling to come across in the midst because you're trying to be the twin mother here. The fact of the matter, the whole thing started out with this deception. There was a group of folks in that collaboration who were deceptive. And they tried to play this game that they always play, that traditional Liberian politics, what people say, oh, you don't know Liberian politics. They tried to play against a man who sincerely willing to make sure that change the status quo. And that trap is set from the get-go. It's ended up catching them right now, and it's hanging over them. And it's going to pose a major challenge to them. And the only thing I think, if I were to advise the remnant of the current CPP. Let them just move forward and overhaul the current CPP and open it up and allow other people to come in and let the United Party and go ahead and do whatever they want to do, you know.
Okay.
Let them go ahead and form their own.
All right. Thank you.
And get this thing done over with, and the Liberian people knows. Although many of us who have our partisan cap on, we try to, you know, my baby is okay. Well, that's my baby. I will defend it no matter what. But the Liberian people know the problem. They know what the problem is. You yourself, Mr. Soe, yeah, you know very well. Deep down in your heart, you know what the problem is. And the problem is these guys.
All right. Thank you so much.
You know also what the solution is. The solution is for us to do things differently this time around. Let people implement it. Let people be held accountable for whatever action they take.
Okay. Thank you so much. Let me go to the next caller.
Well, I just answered the question. I didn't make my point. You gave me the option. You said you're asking my question, and I could make my.
That's the question we're going to. Okay, go to your point now. There are others on the line, so I'll bring them in as well.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So here's the thing, Mr. Soe, and that goes to the issue of what is happening with regards to the justice system and that of Alexander Cummings. I think we should be honest with ourselves, and we should call spade a spade, and we should. It has a ripple effect. What is happening now is a complete, not a miscarriage of justice, because miscarriage happen accidentally or incidentally, but this is an abortion of justice. You have the Solicitor General using his office and politicizing it and trying to prevent and subvert the right of this political leader. The political leader who people are not understanding and think that he just because he's nice, he's quiet, he's trying to play make sure that the system works. Who has a supporter of almost 127,000 people that gave him their vote of confidence in 2017. And those people are saying by watching. You think they're happy with what things are going on?
Okay, let me go.
We are on the brink now, and we who want to see peace in our country must speak out.
Okay, Prince, thank you so much. Let me go to the next person.
And then for the problem that may emerge in the future, that will tell us to be violent in the future.
Okay,
thank you very much, Mr. Soe.
Thank you so much for your participation. All right, folks, let's make it brief as possible. We can 612 number 3168. Caller, good evening. What's your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, this is Terry calling from.
Okay, Terry, welcome. Good evening.
Yeah.
What are the chances of the opposition 2023, knowing what we know and what we're seeing now? Welcome, Madam Barclay. Thank you for coming.
The only thing I would say is that, President, we are continuing to lose ground with the people. He continues to make himself unpopular. So whatsoever he does, give the opposition leverage, even if the opposition does nothing, even if they do absolutely nothing. President Weah continues to flip-flop his leadership that is still giving edge to the opposition in person of, I would say, Joseph Yumabara, because he is a forerunner now. So right now,
when you say how you arrive at that point, he's a forerunner.
I was there in Liberia, Mr. Soe. I just came from Liberia 2 weeks ago.
I was there. What was the research? What was the research I pulled that you brought and on what the voters were talking about?
Well, that was not what I really wanted to discuss. But what I want to say to you is that the Liberian people have resolved. Most of the people that we interact with, they have resolved.
Who are those people, Terry? Terry, come on, you my buddy. Who are the people? Who all you talk to? Where those people are?
I'm talking about the motorcyclists. The motorcyclists. First of all, you need to understand Liberia is dark right now. Most of that, the people besides the darkness.
No, I don't want to incite my perceptions or the public view. For me, I know when I'm talking, when there are some things if you are so specific, then you got to tell her exactly where you are gathering those information. You said motorcyclists. Are there only people in Monrovia you talked to? Did you go to Nima? You went to Lofa? You went to...
I don't have to go to Lima all those places because so Monrovia has the largest population when it comes to voting rights in Liberia. All those other places will come later, but the decision is made from Monrovia. What majority of the people agree on in Monrovia, that is what will become that person will become president at the end of the day. So if you don't know what is going on in Monrovia, you will not be able to, you cannot depend on what comes from outside of Monrovia to decide the fate.
Is Monrovia a republic? Monrovia is the only republic of Liberia?
No, Monrovia is just the capital. Monrovia is just the capital of Montserrat. But Montserrat is the county.
Is Bon County relevant to 2023?
I agree, Bon County is relevant.
Is Nima County relevant to 2023?
Nima County is relevant as well.
Is Lofa County relevant to 2023?
But the vote will always swing in Monrovia because the person who carries the highest vote in Montserrat, they will flow throughout the entire county.
No, that's okay. Anyway, I can question your Go ahead.
Yes, that's my position. I have participated in 3 different elections in Liberia, and that is how I saw it goes. When all the elections, the Montserrat.
He's going in and out. Can't hear him.
He carried most of the votes in Montserrat during the 2 period when Ellie ran. But the ratio was not far apart. But anyway, I don't want to dwell on that.
All right. Thank you so much.
What I wanted to say is that the opposition, the question you asked me, I believe that the opposition still have edge. And the reason is because of the way the president is running the country. Now, the president has edge with the crisis going on in the CPP, but we don't know how to manage it. And that is what we give the opposition leverage over him. Regardless what happens between them, all these things going on and all this political rigmarole. At the end of the day, the Liberian people already know who they're going to vote for. But what I wanted to just end on this note before I leave because it took all my time. But what I wanted to say is that I think most people are giving too much credit to Mr. Cummings, especially your guest or the political analyst in the studio, and I believe he's a supporter of Mr. Cummings. I think that we have too much respect and we give Mr. Cummings too much edge, things that we shouldn't have given him. That is what we allotted to him. All right. Right now, 3 political parties,
for instance,
are accusing Mr. Cummings of tampering with important information. So when we say that these 3 political parties lied on Mr. Cummings, or will we allow the process, Mr. Cummings, to go through the process properly? Mr. Cummings asked for an excuse. He came to America. All right. They allowed him to come to America when the case was going on when his mother was sick. So if somebody else said they sick too, why you can't allow the process to go on when somebody said they sick, then I mean, the government, the people trying to stop Mr. Cummings. So what are we doing? So every time, there is some level of delay on the side of the prosecutor, then it means that the people are accusing Mr. Cummings. But when Mr. Cummings delay, then I mean he's right. So why can't we allow
when Cummings delay the case?
When Mr. Cummings vindicate himself? Because let me tell you something, Mr. So, one thing the Liberian people waiting for, the Liberian people wanted Mr. Cummings, but this particular case is not giving the Liberian people hope for his presidency.
Terry.
Most of his supporters are defending him. They are not allowing him to defend himself and vindicate himself. Mama, let them allow the process to play. No matter how long it takes, this particular process will unveil itself and it will unravel. And everybody will know whether if Mr. Cummings was right or wrong. That's my point on the whole entire issue.
Thank you so much. All right. Okay. Well, folks, I'm sorry so much. I'll try to keep it brief, but I want to make sure that the people speak their mind. Elvis, are you there? Yeah, okay. Let's please, let's get to the point. Yeah, go ahead. I'm going to be coming down. Elvis, go ahead. Then my cadence is 0589 number, then 18. Go strictly to the point.
Yes, quickly. First of all, I just wanted to say that we kind of forget this part. In the beginning, there's collaboration included Charles Bronson. Before his timely passing, I think Mr. Comey's had a lot of trust in Bronson being a person who have moral standards, that he will have oversaw a fair, a fair transition, a fair process to pick the next leader for the CPD. But something fell in Young's conduct left that into the leadership of the Liberty Party. So I think her being that party, her being the leader of that party, really screwed everything up in the beginning. And then secondly to the case, I would say that more and more, Mr. Soe, I've been more and more disappointed with Mr. Cummings. For some of us who work in the corporate world in America, we understand that there's always a department called the legal department. Certain things you want to do, you always have to consult with the legal department to make sure everything is going to be on the up and up before you move forward. In the ANC, did not have a legal department that she should have went through and have them produce the document, the framework document to see if everything was on the up and up before even moving forward to sign it. So it shows a lack of experience. For somebody who worked in the corporate world, he should have done exactly that to make sure that he was on strong legal ground before moving forward. I just want to make this point. Thank you again for taking my call.
Thank you so much. Okay. Yeah, you can call back. The line was occupied. Mikey, go ahead, make your point, and I'll become the 612 number 0505 this. Okay, just hang in that. Go ahead. Go ahead, Mikey, go ahead. Mikey, are you there? Okay. Then 612 number 0589. Are you there? 6120589.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm here. Can you hear me?
I'm hearing you now. Go ahead. What's your name and where you calling from?
Yes, sir. Thank you for taking my call. My name is George Paul, calling from Minnesota.
Welcome.
So, yeah, so
guys.
Hello?
Yeah, guys. Please mute your phone until I come to your number. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Soe, there's a poem by the great Miss Maya Angelou that says "Still Arise." It's titled "Still Arise." Mr. Cummings was right. Mr. Cummings was right from this because on one hand, it will say, "Oh, this man is not popular, he's not known," but the other say he's taking shots from every direction. Okay, so just yesterday, a whole group of former UPN joined Mr. Cummings yesterday. Okay, so the campaign is shaping up gradually. But the reason, let me just address the last brother at this call. People, the other time I called the show and I said, people say, "Oh, Cummings supporters won't last time when people criticize Cummings." And I said, no, it's not a point. The point is criticizing, but the criticism be fair. Now this brother just like the full said, Mr. Cummings, they now have a legal department to make sure the document was proper before you file the document. How can you say that when we just everybody agreed that there were 4 lawyers that worked on the document, and Mr. Cummings, the text messages are out there. Mr. Cummings is informing all of the political parties that this document is about to be sent out. Everybody gave him a kudos. Everybody gave him a thumbs up. Oh yes, it's okay now. You can send this document. Why we look at the evidence in our faces and trying to talk about something else? You see, so Mr. Cummings is a right man for this country. He's going to rise from the ashes of this mess, and he's going to turn this country on the right path because all of the criticism of Jesus, man, it doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean?
Thank you so much.
This man, the document was worked on by lawyers, and this man sent this document out to all of the scholars, and they all gave a resolution. They all gave a resolution on this document. So what else are they looking for? But again, let me just end because I don't want to lie. Criticize comments all you want, but the criticism be fair. Please.
Thank you so much.
Criticism always be fair. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, Mikey, are you there?
Yeah, hello?
Yeah, okay, go ahead quickly.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I'm sorry, I'm using the phone on noise myself.
No, go ahead.
Well, I don't have much to say. I just want to say this. Mr. Cummings should blame himself.
He should blame himself?
Yes, he should blame himself in the whole political, drama that is going on within the CPP.
Why?
I remember
when Mr. Comey first showed face on the political scene, as you say, like bro, he showed face, he was knowing or seen as the real deal, the corporate man, the change. His famous saying that he always says like doing the same thing, keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. We can't keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. That's his, famous saying. And then he came and joined Liberty Party, UP. All these people, one way or the other, they are betting political power. Anybody are betting power before in government, either through appointment from UP and stuff like that. And they have been doing the same old thing. Nothing changing the country. So I expected when I saw Comey I said, why this brother can't just go on his own, make sure he work hard, and campaign for himself, talk to the Liberian people all across the country and market himself. And when the election time comes, let the Liberian people decide. There's a join people who that Liberian people having problem with. Because the Unity Party, Liberian people having problem with Unity Party. Joseph Burger is not somebody who is 100%, perfect when it comes to what happening like on the government.
Okay, quickly
so
now.
I would say he will blame himself.
All right. So your indictment, to wrap up, your indictment on Mr. Cummings is he professed to be a clean guy and he threw himself in the mud.
Yeah, he threw himself in the mud. So what he is saying is all that he is doing, the government, and it's different. You answer this question. All that he is doing in the interest of President we are. All that put in the doing because like people to get tired when it comes to this kind of issue. They'll get that easy not being able to wait outside. Let's do what we are. Because it's like what we are can be telling what I do. The people get against it. They don't see nothing. They don't want to help it. And that's how the method do for CDC. When people continue doing like this, they will just get Joe easy rather than come and say they rig the election. They will party or say there will be no rigging election like that. Before like
anybody rig anything they gotta accept it. We'll not get time for that. All right, thank you so much. All right. And I that thing that they always rig. Once it's not in their favor, then that's rig. When they win, they say the rig, then it's good. So that thing we don't have time for it. Okay, guys, let me make it quick here. Let me go to 952 number 3218. Caller, good evening. What's your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, this is Eddie calling you from Virginia.
Okay, from the Commonwealth. Let's hear from you. What's going on?
Yeah, I feel sorry for Mr. Cummings, though I'm not his supporter.
Why you feeling sorry for him for?
No, I feel sorry for him because he would have been a very good leader after President Boyka. I mean, he would have been a very good pick.
After Boyka?
Yeah, after Boyka.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the problem that Mr. Cummings has, for me, from my observation, he got this diaspora base that is not in touch with reality. And they kind of try to control every move. That's some of the reasons that landed him where he is today. As much as I don't agree with the prosecution, I think it is motivated by something else. But I think the diaspora base played a lot to do with where he is today. And
do you care to tell us? Yeah, I like to keep my folks up to speed. Can you tell one or two instances what the diaspora base did to get him to be where he is?
Well, there have been, I cannot pinpoint the exact situation.
So then how you arrive at that? Then how you arrive at that point?
I know of times that Mr. Cummings agreed to when the whole thing was going on. He agreed to certain things.
Like
after.
Like what?
I won't be able to pinpoint it exact.
Okay, so let's do this. Let's do this. We don't want people to carry and say, "Oh, once somebody called from Virginia and this is what so." Do me a favor. We hear on a regular basis. When you get the information, if you are here, that will do you good. That will do us good. That will do the public good. Because you throw an indictment, and if you can't point out specific, then it leaves our viewers and followers with.
Let me move on to my next point.
So you were on the wrong side of history.
No, I would not agree. I'm on the wrong side. But let me just be straight up with you here.
Okay, go ahead, my buddy. I just put in your list. We ourselves we gotta be held accountable to not the people. Go ahead.
No, I appreciate the fact that your platform will go that far. And other platforms are. So I will give you kudos for that.
Thank you.
There is something going on here that I'm not hearing a lot about.
Okay.
This whole Musa Belede situation. I mean, we all got some idea of Mr. Belede, his past, the issue with the gas tax and other stuff. Okay? Most people don't feel him to be a clean character, which I will not go into that. But, hello?
Yeah, we're listening. Just go ahead quickly,
Yeah,
so I'll go to the next person.
but there is a pit in circulation out there. And I'm sure either you have heard of it or at some point you will hear about it.
Give me the G's.
Okay? And this pit just validates what most people are saying, that Musa Belede was planted in the CPP to do the dirty work of the government.
Okay, most people, let me hold you right there, and I gotta go to the next person. Most people are saying, what are you saying?
That's what I'm saying. I'm alluding to that.
Oh, you agree with?
This is something that I expect the media to scrutinize and expect the media to use the opportunity to educate the Liberian people on what they think Musa Belede's role is in the whole thing. Because in my personal view, I don't think Musa Belede is into this agreement because he wants a better future for Liberia.
Okay.
I think he's into this for the betterment of himself and to get himself off the hook for the gas tax that he owed the Liberian government, which is a public record, and to pay the dirty man, to bring this thing down, but using this framework agreement to hijack the whole process. I mean, the tip is clear.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And with respect to what you are saying, we just don't run a judgment. I've not had a chance to have a conversation to ask the question that I think I should ask Mr. Ability. So to come here and make a blanket stuff that he's this, I do know whatever issue with LFA, I mean FIFA, all of that, but equally we must give him a chance to have that conversation. Thank you so much for your time this evening.
Thank you.
Okay. So let me go to the next person here, and I'll be coming to you. Yeah, just please hold on to Madam Wade. Let me go to 862 number 7792. Caller, good evening. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hello. My name is Leon from New Jersey.
Okay, let's hear from the Garden City.
Yeah, thank you so much for a very interesting conversation. Actually, 14 months.
Yeah, just pump up your volume. Just edify your pump up your volume a little bit so we.
As we move by 14 to 15 months to election, Nigeria is very challenging. Our country is very challenging. So we look forward to seeing many of you discussing the future. But
602 number, please mute your phone, please. Go ahead, 862.
Yeah, if you are doing a disappointment in our country, and if you take a statistic today, Joseph Bakai thing have an edge to battle. The question is, will he beat us when we are in the second round? Because there's no political party that can win 50+1, the party culture right now. With the situation of Mr. Cummings, like one of the callers said, Mr. Cummings has been one of the followers of Mr. Cummings. But I got disappointed when the diaspora, we in the diaspora said, Mr. Cummings, do not join the CPP. Those people are not strange to you. Mr. Baka is not strange to you. Euro is not strange to you. As a matter of fact, the Euro, the Communists, the CDC, they were all in one coalition, the Ganta coalition, the Ganta movement, they were all in it. Until we went to the second round of 2017. Mr. Cummings did not make a decision, Euro joined Baka and Liberty Party went to the CDC. So if you look at the study of 2017, Musa Belede endorsed President Weah. He said he enjoyed the marriage of President Weah, Israel acquired Ben Sabi, all people wanted President Weah. They said that they enjoyed the harmony of President Weah. ARP came to live with JMB. They stay with JMB. They stay enjoying JMB. Mr. Cummings said his followers can go wherever they want to. Coming in a collaboration, you stay in a marriage with somebody who endorsed President Weah, You stay in a marriage with somebody who enjoys JMB. You're in a marriage with a person who also sees himself as the next person of the world. How then can you survive when you have said that these people are the ones who cause the country backward? We in the diaspora said, Mr. Comey, don't join them. He said the people will change. There's a way he can make the people change. How possible?
So
Politics is not a gospel. It's not a Bible. It's not a Quran. How possible are you going to make these people repent when you already identified them? So you are into a marriage that you already know your future is black.
okay, thank you so much. So yeah, say it again.
Yes, to the next issue.
Yeah, probably 30 seconds now, so I'll go to the next caller there. Other folks.
You are an educated person, you understand. Look at the CPB framework where they told us that when you are not member, you're not active member, you're not GPing, you can get a permanent job. That contravenes the Constitution. The whole CPP, that when you're part of it, you can't leave it. That against the Constitution. We said you have the right to associate and disassociate at any time.
Right.
No article of incorporation can contravene our Constitution. So all of them who put our document together, they're not even enjoying that now.
For me, I never had a regard for it. The first time I perused it, I knew, I forecast that going to be a big picture. Okay, so your indictment on Mr. Cummings here is, do not join these folks, and he said he was going to change them. That's where your indictment to see his judgment being wrong.
Okay. The government did not go around looking for cases. The government did not, the Supreme Court did not go around looking for cases. They carry their own cases there. And when they ask the government how to use the judicial system, they say it's good. The low power of the fair trial. And we asked, I wanted to ask them in the comment, I want this case to be a televised trial. So the public can know what is happening. They say no.
There are regulations. There are also regulations involved. You know, people just know it from the surface. You don't just get up and say you want it. There must be conditions attached for which you want, depending on the nature of. I'm not sure that did not reach that standard for which, you know. But again, people have to express. Thank you so much, my man. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Indomitable candidate who have seen himself to be the next person. So that case has been a case that we all saying gossip now. So not people say they took on the one, took on the one.
Okay, my man. All right, let me go to the next person. Thank you so much. Let me go to, thank you for being patient. Let me go to Atlanta, Georgia. Is a diehard supporter by the ANC. Madam Gray, are you there, Martin? Yeah?
I'm here, Mr.
Okay. Okay, we need to find time here again. Look, let me ask you here before you get to your own talking point here. Do you at any time advise Mr. Cummings to don't jump, because one or two callers here, they have been, and that's not the first time I've been hearing this over and over and over. Don't join these people, don't join these people, and he said he want to change them. You ever had a conversation with Mr. Cummings, do not join Unity Party, ALP, Liberty Party? You ever had a conversation with him?
You know what? Not only did we have the conversation with him, you also had that conversation with him. In fact, he volunteered on the platform. That majority of the people around him, both local and here, were in favor of joining certain remnants of the past. So, but it is more than just that. You have to look at the philosophy of somebody, how to be able to succeed. I know a gentleman came earlier who said that Mr. Cummings said you cannot do the same thing over and over and anticipate different results. That is correct. Mr. Cummings also believes the reason that Liberia has lacked and still lacking behind is our inability to work together as a unit. We don't believe in collectiveness, collective power, collective house building. The Jewish community does that. The Oriental community does that. The Spanish community do that. We don't. All right. Yes. But we had a sense of thought. Let's first clear this, and I know Mr. Ford from Minnesota clarified that about lawyers coming together in corporate. They have the corporate. In fact, if you look at the hierarchy of ANC, we got a lot of lawyers. The party chair is a lawyer. The former CSO, Mariah Jafula, is a lawyer. The SG is a counsel. And Illustrious Gold is a lawyer. So there were 4 lawyers each and then some independent lawyers that made that took that framework document after the organization is compiled. The first one that was signed in May, I think in May or April, via Zoom, that young man just about. That particular framework did not go anywhere. Looking at it, that it actually contravenes the Constitution. That is why it was sent back with the agreement of all. That's what they say consensus, not simple majority or majority rule. All four leaders or all four political parties have to agree on anything for that matter before it goes to the next step. They all agree. It is documented via a recording and an interview with Yuri and him, okay, before they send it to the lawyers. All right. And there's something called agency relationships. When we were talking about the agency relationship later, if they can call me to go me an interview, and we can think if it's falling, we can talk about it. So we have enough time to kind of visit these things one by one while the lawyers have not come out yet to talk. Then we have to be in the end maybe a subpoena. But I don't see this. Let's see, somebody just said that what do you call it? The government did not say this are coming to court. The government is a part of the nation. The government has a responsibility when a case is brought before, especially some with fraudulent, fraudulent and all of this. You have a responsibility to establish that there is a crime. That's why in America, you can't just say fraudulent and somebody go unilaterally to court. Okay? The justice system must establish beyond reasonable doubt that a fraud occurred. We have seen where people admitted that they did not omit the last 3 pages or the last 3 pages of the sign or the communication. It was left out by mistake. So now we're not talking about fingers. We're not talking about adjustment. We're not talking about modification of documents. We're talking something else. All right? Yes, Mr. Cummings believes that majority of us in Liberia, majority of the Liberians who are the mover and shakers have searched. All right? Like somebody said earlier, Bronstein came to Mr. Cummings. Europe was never part of this process. Okay? But Waka brought him on.
And he was accepted.
Excuse me? He was what?
I said, Boyka, like you said, Boyka brought him and he was accepted, right?
Right. He was accepted. All right? But we must understand, for Liberia to move on, we have to exercise value differences. Okay? We have to bring the best of us, even the worst of us, because they have to live too. But all of us here.
So let me ask you. Yeah, I had to interrupt. Maybe we'll find time to expand on this. Boycott Brahim was his coming into the process. You are more or less close, or get the ears of ANC or maybe Cummings, if you were to say it. Was that welcome by Mr. Cummings as far as you are concerned?
Well, I don't think initially, but based on the conversation with Waka and Bronstein, we didn't know Bronstein was going to die, like, may his soul rest in peace, like that. All right? And
Bronstein still has a reservation up to his death.
Was that a reason? Was that a reason? Was that a reason? There was an apprehension?
He was not that he was making his own assessment. Because for somebody who has built stuff, he likes to know. He was making his own assessment to make sure that these people, based on their record, majority of them anyway, that they meant well for the Liberian people, that they were speaking the truth. Apparently they worried, okay? I think Prince said earlier, you have somebody who came into the process and say, okay, and they all agree. If you listen to or an interview with what you call this from 50-50, even Waka said it. We said these are the processes, and we're going to follow these processes systems. First, we're going to try to reach consensus. If that does not happen, we're going to go to the survey, okay, the voter protection survey. Then before we'll go to convention, and that will make us educate or inform us as to where the electorate is facing. Let me tell Liberian people this, so some of you are coming here, I know most of the voices are coming from here. I've been here on social media for a very long time. I've been advocating for a very long time. Yes, the care of the electorate is in Montserrat. That is correct. All right? But you don't get a silent voter to talk. They're not talking. All right? And I heard somebody say Mr. Cummings would have made a good president after Bouaka. One thing, though, the question you asked me, answer this question. We are not going to win the election. Okay? And opposition is going to win the election. We will not win the election. Here is why. We are for 2 terms of election.
Which opposition? We're going to make this thing short. I think I need to get you off here.
Alexander Cummings will be the next president. It's the next president.
Under the banner of the okay, quickly, under the banner of the CPP or as
let me say this, Mr. Soe. For us innovators, for us who have traveled and integrate, we believe, okay, even in Liberia, if you take a DeSoto or if you took a taxi and you are going to Putu and the taxi breaks down, you will take the next car because you want to get the Putu. You will take the next car because you already know where you got have broken down. All right? This we administration have broken down. All it has brought us is sorrow, roguishness, stealing, lies, murder with no legal recourse, princess, Odell, Natri Innes, Dina Miller, the 4 auditors, the 3 living boys taken. I can go on. And every day rape of babies. 1,700 in less than 9 months of Liberian children murder or rape in that place. So our people know. Mafia.
So would that be the core? These are very important, critical, painful conversation here. But besides that, Liberia as a country too, they look up to hearing other things. Would that be the talking point of this opposition? If that would be is that sufficient enough to tweet the votes around?
It's not a talking point. These are facts.
I understand. That's what I'm saying.
These are facts. These issues are affecting the nation.
Right.
And not just the nation. The world that help us a lot. The Europeans, the Americans.
Yeah, but here is the thing. When you talk about it and you do not have a specific plan as to how you're going to, or people or supporters, surrogates, just talk about it. And we don't hear from these candidates, they address this issue and what measures they're going to be taken to remedy it, to put it to a rest. If we're not hearing that, then that is also another questionable thing to talk about.
So Mr. Soe, like I said, I can't come here for 2 minutes or for 3 minutes and talk and lay out Mr. Cummings' plan. Mr. Cummings' plan is documented, it's spoken in his own words, it's written in his own words. He has the fire watch. He really talked about the first 100 days, what he's going to put things in perspective.
So
I'm available to you. Let me know. Let's have this conversation.
Okay, we'll have the conversation. And what I want you to do too, as a close insider, I'm still working with other folks inside. I want to have in here. I want to bring people here. I want to bring these individuals themselves, so we can hold them.
Mr. Soe, you about Mr. Cummings when you start on like 3 times already in the last 2 years.
No, one time I remember he has appeared here. But anyway, we can talk about that.
No.
What?
Don't tell me you're getting old on me this time. Don't get old on me.
You're making because they're talking too much. Okay, thank you so much. All right. You're getting we are getting all now, everything just going gray with all because you're giving a headache. Opposition, imposition, everybody. 602, thank you so much for being so patient. All of us must be held. I strongly believe we all must be held accountable to our comments, our statements, because we owe it to the nation. 602 number, good evening and welcome. Are you there? 0297.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your name?
How you doing,
Good. What's your name and where are you calling from? Yeah, man. Thank you so much. You really here up to that line here. So I think there's something that caught. Okay, yeah, okay. I think something's ringing bell is about our country. So when it comes to Liberia, no one should walk free, including myself. Things that I say, things that I throw out there, we all must be held accountable. So this is a powerball question here. And I heard what outlined, which are very good point. But there are other things more, there are other things beyond that. Is the opposition adequately addressing these issues as well? Or where do you stand? Do you see them? Are they in the winning column, or they are fighting a losing battle based on all what we know happening now? Because they yet to solidify themselves as a group to fight the ruling establishment politically, I meant to say.
Yeah, so what I can tell you, Mr. So, the fee is still open up.
Okay. Yeah.
Anybody can win this election, 2023.
Mm.
It's just how you're going to sell yourself. Because even the ruling party is not doing the thing that will get over the cross line. They're not addressing issues like the death that going on. I mean, so many stuff in the country.
Okay.
But while listening to your show, I heard a question.
Why?
About the CCP.
Mm-hmm.
I believe you asking that question.
Mm-hmm.
Why the CCP break up, or why did we cook?
Mm-hmm.
Or, I think I also a question like that at the very beginning. And I want to say this. The CPP, first of all, when the CPP came together, they trusted each other. Because at the time, they have Johnson there. So nobody could come forward and say, I can be the leader. But when the Omen passed away, that's the time they started to push Mr. Comey around.
After the death of Brodsky.
Yes. Because Brodsky was late, they could not push Brodsky around because he was sitting into the African politics. But when he died, they decided to push Mr. Cummings around. I spoke to Mr. Cummings. I told him I did not read the document, but I told him, I said, he came to finish. I said, Mr. Cummings, I don't care what they do. Do not get all of the security because it will push you around. I told him.
So let me ask you, what was your initial step as well? I've been hearing a lot of folks here saying, do not join these people. Do not join these people, because perhaps there was some political doubt. Were you one of those that also offered that advice?
Yeah, a lot of us said. But as a leader, he said, couple of things. Mr. Cummings said he cannot get the country running, but put the other four aside. Everybody got to be together. One of the things he said was if you go, I think he said something like, if you go on a football field to celebrate or whatsoever, you need everybody to enjoy that game or put up something he said. And he's a leader. He understood what he was.
So, my dear brother, do you strongly believe if Mr. Cummings and the ANC hierarchy have made that decision not to join the collaboration, do you think there will be no backlash, or do you think it will going to be another political prize from ordinary voters, ordinary Liberians, not necessarily hold on 1 second, not necessarily ANC, but there are other free thinkers who are saying, okay, we need to get CDC out of here. And perhaps one of the easier way to get to the finishing line of number 51 is these major political parties to put together. And come and say, I am not getting that. It will have come back to him. Okay, this is what he never wanted to do, and that's why he made an open statement to his partisans, go and decide your political will, who you want to support. Don't you think those were things that were running through his hair as well?
Yes. That's why. Because you know why? Like you said, during the 2017 election, when he said he was not going anybody, but he's supposed to go wherever they want to go. The people still hold him responsible for that.
Do you hold him responsible as well?
No, I did not.
Do you think he did the right thing?
That's right.
No, I'm asking you. I'm asking for your own opinion, your view now. Do you think that was the right thing?
I think he did the right thing. I think he did the right thing. Remember, we had a You have a party over there who fear the people. Who fear the people. They will have a lot of parties going there. I mean, who are you going to put with here? I think was the best decision he made.
Okay. Thank you so much. All right, let me see here. This is North Carolina. Thank you so much. Let's have this last caller for the day, and then Mr. George, I'm going to be coming to you. Let's go to what, North Carolina, to 704 number. Good evening, caller. Are you there?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. What's your point?
My name is Pastor Sumo. I call from Charlotte.
Okay, welcome in the house.
Yeah, this is my first time on the show, and the topic is so interesting. But it's just good to just be very frank. In Liberia, right now, what we're seeing, like I always tell my friends within the opposition, I say, you guys are just talking. Forgetting to know that Liberian, the way they vote in our country is not for you just talking. I usually tell people, I say, the reason why President we have won the election, first President we are, when we got all the chances in Liberia, and President we are playing professional football, he did a lot of things for Liberia, and he did things for the country. So based on that, the people had that love of the president, they had that love. But look at the people within the opposition. You guys looking at the situation in the country, the old people dying, like I said, instead of actually kill people, adding them brought war into our country, Liberia people stay voted for them. Look at the opposition right now. That like I said, have a scandal in America here, coming to the court, the entire CPP, they in court today or just for the election commission, and they are just confused. What is the time they have to go and tell the people in the Bureau County? But President, we are two people, President, we have won the election over 600,000 votes. That assumes that even with 100 or less than 200,000 people that vote for President, President, we are still got almost 400,000 people stay on the side. What are you people doing to tell the voter that, oh, we are the alternative and we will do better than President we are? But for you guys to be in court, just on Facebook for one show to another, all the people dying, all the people doing this. And I'm very focused to get tired with things. So look at the people. Right now, any some person will look at the government and look at the opposition to make a judgment. You will take the government because President Weah, although everything is not perfect in the country, but President Weah is doing some things in our country that no other government has ever done before. So based on that policy about President Weah, just to be 4 years or 6 years, he can do all these things. I get a man chance. While other people be fighting on the he could be doing this and doing that. So the best option will be President Weah. So let us start putting themselves. They can't win that man.
Okay, so you are resolved that President Weah will maintain his job 2023.
Definitely. Definitely. President Weah will maintain his job because it's the honest period. The only way you can go against a ruling party when the people came together, everyone was a friend. Say, oh yeah, when you guys started with a collaboration, it will be tough for the government. But look at them right now. What the time they have to start campaigning. President we are doing things almost in all countries. They only stay in Moravia and make all the noise. You go Nova country, President we are impact is there. You go Lima country, President we are impact is there. You go everywhere, Bapuru, home is great came of President we are impact is there. You see more people go to the country, see street. Just come on street and never see before. Go show on that President we are going all those small countries and villages and stuff. You do that where people are disturbing making laws, or they document this, or they document that. Okay, that's common logic. So
all right.
If you start thinking about maybe 2029, but that is 2023.
All right. Thank you so much.
You are.
Amos George.
Yeah.
We have our way of interpreting things, be it the politicians, host, callers, but the ultimate decisions is with the voters.
Yeah.
And we have We talked to a few of them, and sometimes the story is sort of similar. If you heard what a man said, you don't know what is impactful to people. We must overlook it. But I mean, that's a fact. That's the reality. Because that's where you compare and you contrast. You draw that line. Somebody there see they like whether they like come on once a month, the mindset, the perception of the person at least is yeah, it will come on again. But this is the thing I want to get to before we leave. The opposition itself, especially the folks within the CPP or whatever group, they have successfully infiltrated themselves politically. And I'm not sure whether this group can easily recover from that because African politicians, Liberian politicians, they are not a forgiving type. They don't let go. They're not they are indecisive in their decision making. Most of their decisions is being controlled or regulated by few folks around them. Yeah, other people say, "Oh, we told them not to join not to join these people because these people." These people they strongly believe that, and you can't overlook it. So it's that we told you, you didn't listen to us, you got yourself into the lion's den. Now, what is happening now, in as much as there are bad policies, some horrible things that are ongoing, but they have been successful to empower the ruling establishment to make their case. And I'm telling you, even though rights issue, there's a lot is ongoing. But that's where the contrast is going to come from within. If these people can't manage themselves, they are unable to come together. They brought in people that are not politically mature and they allowed this water to be poison. Who wants to drink the poison?
Well, let me tell you straight up. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I mean, it's a very crucial, it's serious. And the danger, before I end, the danger, and I said this, and I'm going to say it. It is a serious problem for the ANC and the political future of Alexander Cummings. They see it as just something enlightening here. But remember, this is a political time. And part of the strategy of the opposition to also do everything to unseat the ruling party. And the ruling party is also doing everything to maintain state power. Now, this one, they took it from their own closet and went and gave it a fee into the bite. You remember the Jallo, GOL, the governor of Liberia Jallo case? How many years before it came to an end? Not to mention, but such a high profile. This case could probably, it can be on the docket until comes election. And if it is not conclusive, it means Mr. Cummings will not partake. Boycott on the other side, who trying to withdraw their own document to put together to say, it tells us exactly how they're supposed to leave. Is he willing to take a new brand? And if you take a new brand, what is he doing? He's also arming the political, the ruling establishment to tell them to many reasons of order to say, these people see these people. That alone, because they will be limited in a specific way, that they're going to take time to provide explanation. And in the process of providing explanation, that's a distraction to their message. And that's why it's killing us in the media world too, because we're not talking about these people infrastructure plan. We are not talking about their agriculture plan. We are not talking about their educational plan. We are not talking about how they're going to downsize government. We are not talking about which agency in government, similar to the same thing that they are doing, that they condense one or two ministries or agency to make them one, to decrease the size of government. We are not talking about those things because of the creations of the same political parties and their leaders. It has diverted and it just get off our track completely. Go ahead before we go.
let me say, Mrs. I have so many callers, and everybody has the right to say what they want and how to look at it. But this, the questions I ask people: do so many people follow the statistics of the voters in Liberia? The gentleman mentioned, said George Weah won about 300,000 plus. But I told people, George Weah, with all the popularity at the time, never won 40% of the vote in Liberia. Never. He had to join with another party to win an election. Secondly, people talk about Cummings joining the group. I think Mr. Cummings answered this question. He said, there's no one political party single that can win an election in Liberia. So going to Dawes, one of the things, based on calculations, that's why he joined this group, because there's no one single party can win an election. I think he talked about that. The bottom line here is, let me stress this case quote. The government, they can drag this case. They can drag it as long as they want to drag it. But they better be careful. It might come back, it might backfire. Look, the thing is, we know African politics, how it works. And this is no stranger. It's just one that the government was waiting for, and they felt the opposition brought it into their lands, and they drag it. But if this case drags, Mr. Soe, you will hear a call from the international community to put pressure on the Weah government. So they can drag it. That is very clear. Every day, they're supposed to be out there putting out a plan how they're going to develop the country. It's not happening now because of people.
The opposition. Talking about the international community to intervene. The opposition, are they making this case with the international community?
No, normally, I mean, you don't have to go to same issue to call international community. You know our system. They came when it started first. Nobody called the congressman. The congressman came out and spoke about it, that they had trump up charges against Cummings. Nobody called him. So we know. And because election is going closer, and you see the role the government is playing, it can tell you exactly that they want to silence, ostracize other opposition leaders within the country. But I can say this to people, I always say this. If President Weah or Boakai, Yuri, they all feel that they can win an election, just make the thing plain and simple. Let everybody go, let the voter decide, make your case. But when you start doing something like a stumbling block to other people, then of course, people will start looking at you from the different angle. This is the point. You know, one gentleman talked about the last gentleman, President Weah, foot miles all over. That is true. But I think, was that yesterday? They had a meeting to revisit the poor people agenda plan, how they can retreat or recalibrate to move forward. The question here is, Liberians must sit down and ask themselves, 5 years, you didn't see any change in your life. Now you want to give 6 more years. The guys who come from the University of Liberia, they should ask themselves that question. 5 years, nothing, your life, in fact, had deteriorated. And now you're thinking, the last 6 years, or the people that want to look after us, when they're on the way out, really? Liberians should sit down and think of themselves. I always say this, Cummings is not the only person that can be president of Liberia. Boakai is not the only person. You got Tiawa Gongo down. You got other people. People who name are popping up. These people as competent as just as
Liberian love branding. We don't talk on issues of substance. We don't talk on the ideas people have to offer. The conclusion is drawn already. What a man can do, what a woman can do. That's
just a second.
It's pride. And so the politicians have been successful to redirect the narrative, making it very impossible because two Liberians also like German, they like theater. So we'll keep having this stuff here. Even when we try to redirect the conversation, it makes it difficult. We gotta leave it. So what's your closing remark?
Look, I just want to say to everybody that involved in this process in Liberia, the bigger picture is Liberia. It's not about individual. We should look at where this country will be heading instead of thinking of personalities. Because if personality, then Liberia would have been number one. But we should look at people who will change the direction of the country, make an indirect impact on your life. That's what we should be looking for. It's not the brand name.
Let me get a personal opinion, and you are at liberty. If you want to answer, you can answer, because you say you are a sympathizer of Cummings, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it was around political calculation for Mr. Cummings to have joined the rest of these parties?
No. Let me tell you, Mr. Soe, people don't understand. If Mr. Cummings, when that coalition will be formed, if Mr. Cummings has said, I will not join this group, he would have been the worst person in Liberian Party, because the way I said, this man really he don't want to work with other people. That would have been the talk. But because it's not working out, that when you see people talking, because I myself, I was wondering, why was he aligned with these people? And I asked somebody, and this person said, look, single-handedly, no one political party can operate to win any election right now in Nigeria. So you have to either work with some kind of.
What do you think running through his hair with this sort of controversies and stuff that crowded over? What do you think? What decisions? What his thought process at this point in time? And that's what I really want to.
Let me tell you, the thought process from me, what I look at, is painful for him. And the reason is because I'm not saying I have spoken to him or anybody closer to him, but I'm saying from my own feeling. If these were different people that he don't know doing this to him, you would say, okay, I didn't know the guys, and we just came together fine.
Do you think, before we go, do you think the collaboration will survive? Do you think they're going to smoke a peace pipe at the end of the day, or everybody going to go their way?
Mr. Soe, I can tell you right up front, if this collaboration to survive, certain people need to get out of it.
When you say certain people,
yes.
What do you mean by certain people?
Oh, look. Let me say one.
For example, quickly.
Mr. Costa, Mr. Ure, the Mo Ali, they all need to shut them up and allow Cummings, if anything, Bunker to sit down and talk. These are the people that have stirred this thing up.
They person the water?
They person the water. They are the people. You heard Costa that will control him.
Cummings, you think he drank that water literally?
Oh yeah, I mean this is why you see what he fighting for his life. These are the people. Let's go to that tip, the interview we had with him, when you asked him about coming to a vibrant thing. Notice that did he rule it up? I can't beat this. He said, let's see the system that play out. We are not reaching that point.
He said, let the voters, let the people decide.
Okay.
Whoever wins, is he doing enough to explain to the people, or a specific part is being injected by people out there? This is not what he wants. Is he doing enough? Is his supporters doing enough to give an explanation?
You saw the last time one of the supporters here, and when he and myself were talking, the same thing that he was telling me that Mr. Cummings cannot do now, that's what Mr. Cummings is doing now. When I told him, Mr. Cummings needs to be out there talking to the people, he said, oh, it's not campaign now. I mean, you see that Mr. Cummings is out there.
Amos George, I want to thank you so much for your time this evening. I am Alphonso Zean Soe of the Liberia Public Radio 10 Lpr-Tv.
So what kind of injection you gave to my man? I can't see him.
Say it again.
What kind of injection you gave to my man, Bloku?
Bloku is on the run. Bloku, then they all have to create problem. They get a party, they have their party, they are unable to stand along with them. Instead, they are jumping to other party. Thank you so much, my George. My folks, that's how we're going to bring the curtain down this evening. Time check here is 10:19 Eastern Standard Time. I'm Alphonso Zean Soe of the Liberia Public Radio 10 Lpr-Tv. That's the voice of Minister K. Praise, is Liberian gospel artist, voice hovering and fading away right here on LPR. We want to thank all our viewers, our listeners, your comments, your tweets, callers, and those who decide to remain quiet. It's time for us to reshift the conversations in the country and bring these politicians. We should not allow these people to direct the conversation. We are not focusing on these core belly button issues in the country. I agree with somebody say, quote, 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 it's just like a rock anymore now. You are faithful God. You are worthy of my praise. You were good, you were good, you were good. Until then, folks, by God's willing, we're going to be back here at another date, another time, same network, same stations with more conversations. And I'm looking forward the day Ambassador Boycott, Mr. Cummings, and all of these high-profile people. For those of you that are closer to them, we'll be glad when they can sit before our microphone as well. And that's why we don't want to be judgmental. We're giving everybody the opportunity. But we'll keep pushing this line here with the hope that one of these days they're going to come here and we will have the conversations. Until then, have a pleasant evening. Thank you for your time. We do appreciate your conversations, your comments, your tweets, and those that even call in. Believe me, usually after our program, we take our time to review, to go to your comments to see where we can improve, where adjustment is needed as well. Our microphone is open here. We are not selective, not just only for the elite in the politics. If you have a view, you have an opinion to your supporter of any political party or independent, if there's one, let us know. We can also bring you in here, not special people, as long. Just put your, just have that thick skin, because you're going to be called names and all of that. But for the most part, our followers, they have that political tolerance. They only can express their view, but they are savored in their conversation. They are also eager because they want something good to happen. So some of their comments, their tweet, will not suit your political taste. We are aware of that, and we accept that as well, because this is what we should be doing. Let people express their views, their opinions about the country. It's about a sovereign nation, one of the oldest. And so that diversities in conversations and political will be overwhelming, that we are aware of. But what is important is to bring to baseline our politicians, stake actors, and more over decision maker. 2023 is just right around the corner. Are we having a conversation in the interest of the country? Or we are injected more or less entertainment for people to be enticed and amused when we undo the real core and important issues to be discussed? Infrastructure, agriculture, education, health. The whole of the southeastern side now is disconnected. What is actually in the agenda of those who want to take the overall office of the Republic of Liberia? How do they intend to do it? What can they tell us about their thousands and thousands of supporters who are chanting slogans, cheering them up? What is their future? Will they be brought in government, like we said in the past, to increase or double the size of government? What is the strategy? These are consequential and crucial questions that these people need to answer. These people are not chanting, they're not singing all day because they want to sing. There's something that awaits them. There's something ahead. Do you think I want to talk for somebody and talk for free? Of course not. Is it good to work for the country? Yes. But the authenticity and the genuineness you bring to the table for the good of the country, that's what matters. Or another group of people profess to be the game changer. Are they coming to enrich themselves because they want to be the Jeff Koji? They want to be the Samuel Tour. They want to be the Nathaniel Mangi to get the ears of Joseph Boyka or Alexander Benedict Cummings? Is that why they are arguing and we are having this sort of vein growing over our neck with headache and taking Tylenol and go to bed because these people want to be at the people, or are they doing it honestly? If they are elected, what would be the executive decisions of ministers, directors? What going to be the balance set by then? If these people that are supporting and arguing for them, it will go wrong and misinterpret the law, will they compromise, will friendship be injected? These are critical questions and conversation we need to be having. Unfortunately, it is not happening. Temper of justice has become our talking point. So folks, that's how we're going to draw it down. Thank you so much and have a pleasant evening. Bye-bye. Until then, I'm Alphonso Zean Soe. Have a pleasant evening.
I just want to thank you.